audios and other things. So in your mind, was it just like waiting for it to come back? Was it your sincere belief that the show was truly just on a hiatus and at any minute they were going to flip the switch?
Yes, I believed it would not die. Say that. I didn't know quite how it would come back. And then when they got in touch with me and said, would I go and do the hand over to Paul McGann, I was absolutely delighted. And, I thought yes, I told you. I said, I told you, it's going to come back. And then we did it, and then it went away again. So I said, it will come back, honestly, it will come back. No, it won't, yes, it will. Anyway, so that's the argument that went on, really. And it did. I was right. But it was the success of Big Finish that made it happen. And I mean, Russell T Davies, he was a fanboy, as well, all the guys, the showrunners in this, they were all fans. The fans had moved into the BBC and taken over the BBC. It was like, the lunatics are now running the lunatic asylum. And so that was it. It was going to come back. There was no way the fans were not going to have Doctor Who in their lives.
He started his television career, if I'm not mistaken, with the thought in the back of his mind from day one as a young man, I'm going to become so powerful, I'm going to bring Doctor Who back.
Yeah.
Because that was his condition for switching and moving over to the BBC in 2003, 2004, whenever it was, when he first agreed to come there. He said, I'll come work for the BBC, but I have one stipulation. Bring
back BBC,
back.
Bring back Doctor Who.
You got a chance, you say, in 1986, you return to hand the baton to Paul McGann, and I'm sure there must have been a feeling of both a little bit relief and satisfaction, but also a bit of sadness that it wasn't you that was going to continue. But luckily, Paul was a mate of yours, wasn't he?
Yeah, I knew Paul before he became the Doctor, and so that was great, because to hand it over to someone you like, so that was. I only thought of strangling him once, and then I thought, no, he can be the Doctor.
How did you know him in the run? Did you work together?
No, well, the McGann brothers, there's four of them. There's four of them and a sister. They came from. We were in fringe theatre. You get to know people. You haven't worked with them. And I went to see the concerts because they were a musical group for a while, the brothers. And one of my best mates was great friends of theirs. So that's how we became friends, really. Yeah.
So this is a little bit of name dropping, but I spent a little time with him in Liverpool this past summer.
Yeah. And
one of the places he wanted to show me was the theater where he first saw you drive a nail into your nose.
Yes, there's a placard which is hung up with the nail that I banged in my nose. And my nose is up there as well.
You were there with the Ken Campbell Roadshow, which is something that Americans may not understand too much. Can you describe how because the Ken Campbell Roadshow was really your pathway into being an actor and an entertainer?
Yeah, well, at that time I was working in a theatre in London called the Roundhouse, which is and this was the 60s, middle 60s, the late 60s, and it was the swinging 60s, and we were doing very avant-garde theatre. We had rock concerts, all sorts of things. La Mama Theatre Company from Los Angeles came over. They were, they revolutionized British theatre because they were so advanced, and we followed them, and all sorts of things like that. And then one day, the guy, there was two things happened. One was that there was an actor, Brian Murphy, who's very well known in Britain. He was collecting tickets because his wife was assistant administrator, so when he was not working, he was collecting tickets. And we used to loon around. And then one day, a guy called Ken Campbell came in, an amazing, imaginative director and creator and writer. And he said to Brian, "Hey, Brian, I've got this mad show. Some bleeper has let me down. Do you know any mad young actors?" I mean, Brian said, "That's the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." So he came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to join my show?" And I said, yes. Because I'm always saying yes. Thank God I wasn't a girl. Anyway, so I joined the show, and off I went. I had no idea. I mean, I was so ignorant. I bought myself a blazer and a silk scarf because I thought, that's it, an actor. Hello, lovey, I'm an actor. That kind of thing. And I go off to Manchester and I'm taken to a place like Coronation Street, Chorley, and I walk into this house and I hear this ruckus going on at the back of the kitchen, and I walk in, and there is the Ken Campbell Roadshow actors playing Risk, and there was Bob Hoskins, who you might have heard of, Dave Hill, Jane Wood, who are still working and friends of mine, and Ken Campbell and myself, and we became the Ken Campbell Roadshow. And we worked in working men's clubs, and we worked in pubs, and we eventually went to a theatre festival and busked the theatre festival, and then maybe started to get invited to theatres, and we worked in the West End, and we worked on the Royal Court, which is a famous theatre in London, and so the thing developed. Now, the Ken Campbell Roadshow, well then, bizarrely, we also toured all over Europe. And in Germany, they called us the Beatles of the theatre. We were mad and wild. I was a stunt man. I was a skinny little stunt man. I used to do escapology. They chained me up, put me in a mailbag, and locked me in, and I had to try and break my world record of getting out of the mailbag. And they used to do it when I was just like comedy. I had a comedy underpants on, so we would get ladies up to make sure there's no keys or any stiffening, to protect me, and all that terrible gags like that. And then eventually I would not break my world record to try and get out of the mailbag. Eventually I would, and as I came out triumphantly, I'd have the handcuffs, the chains, the locks, and my underpants. That went down well, except in Ireland. We did this, we played the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. And when I came out of it, it was reported that Yeats turned in his grave. And there was questions in all the Houses of Parliament about between a rape in Killarney and contraception, and then was the Ken Campbell Roadshow. And people came up to us and said, "You've got to plan your escape from Ireland." Just because I came out for a few seconds and my little Willie caused this big hoorah. I mean, it was just astonishing, really. And the headline was, "Sylvester McCoy breaks the penis barrier in Dublin." I was so proud. It was a mad show. So anyway, we get invited to go to Israel, and which is really exciting. We thought, oh gosh, yes, Israel. Well, so off we